Not for sale. The film is The Sound of Freedom. The star is Jim Caviezel. He joins us now. Jim, you and I have known each other, been friends for over 20 years. You're one of the best men I know because you have dedicated your life to your beliefs. And this film has had a magnificent movie, had a very turbulent time to actually get into theaters, and we're here today to hopefully set things right. First off, tell us about the film, your involvement, until we get into this. 2 million, we want to sell 2 million tickets very quickly. The movie opens over the July 4th weekend to send a message. 2 million children, 2 million tickets. Jim Caviezel.
Thank you, Steve. Well, it is very vital that we sell these tickets now. Many people think, I'll wait until July 4th. Well, we may not be in a lot of the theaters. We'll be in a lot, but not as many as we'd like to. And we have the capability of filling up the churches. I've seen it, the theaters, because I've seen the churches do it overnight. I'm pleading for my fellow countrymen to wake up to what is going on with what's happening to our children. Steve, April 26th, there was a woman named, I believe it was Ms. Rojas. She's a whistleblower. And God protect all our whistleblowers because they're in serious danger right now for speaking the truth. And she got up and said that 85, this is sworn testimony, 85,000 children have gone missing crossing the border. So I'm going out right now to plead to the public, to the Christians out there, and to anybody that has a heart for a child. We may not even get to the resurrection of the Christ because we won't have a country anymore. And I'm talking about the film that is of vital importance. People need to see Sound of Freedom. It's on 4th of July. First thing that comes to my mind, you're at a picnic, you're at a barbecue, you're enjoying yourself, and suddenly you look around and your child is missing. What would you feel? What if I told you that you have a 98 point, maybe even 99%, maybe even 99.9.5% chance you're never going to see your child again? What would you do? Would you have wished you listened? We're in I would say, an apocalyptic moment right now. I think of the words that Jesus talks about when people say, when is the end coming? And Jesus looks, why do you ask me for the signs of the times? You look at the clouds and you know it will rain, and so it does. Why do you ask me this? Can you not see what's going on? Can you not see that we don't have a country anymore? By definition, you have to have borders. We don't have a border. Why would you continue to listen to a media that's lying to you every day? A couple of years ago, I'm talking about adrenochrome. You can't say that word. You cannot say anything bad on George Soros. Do you know that he owns many of these companies like the Daily Beast? Boy, they sure had their fun tearing me apart. I lost my agents, 17 years, and my other agent of 15 years. Because they listen to them. You think you have a selection? Sorry, you think you know what the truth is. You don't. You have a selection. You're not free. And God wants you to be free. I'm talking about the God of Christ, Jesus. The beautiful picture that you have of me behind you every day when I watch your show is beautiful, because the best part in you, I'm not mocking Christ, the best part of you is Christ, is Jesus in you. I'm begging for pastors like Pastor Lori. I want to do a huge event with this man. Why him? I've never even met him, because I believe that Mel Gibson trusts him, the man that's going to be doing the resurrection of the Christ. And I am the man, and I will not be playing Jesus. He will be playing me. And that will be the most powerful thing that you've ever seen. But the most powerful movie at this moment, and this is the most powerful movie since The Passion of the Christ, is Sound of Freedom. And let me tell you, that devil, he does not want you to see this What does devil mean? It means divider. Satan, Satanos, Greek root, accuser. If there is a God, why did these things happen? Oh, he's had his fun poking himself at the people that go out and try to do the right thing for God. But that's it. St. Paul says to live is Christ, to die is gain. Well, I'm going to take him as his word, because if I don't, I got nothing left. And right now we have our Bibles being ripped from us. We're supposed to go along with the LGBTQ community. Where is our Pope? Why is he not speaking out when poor Catholics are being ripped to kingdom come from the FBI? These are the things that are going on in there. It's like a tentacle, the octopus with arms. It's many, many arms, but you got to go after the head of the octopus in this one. Who is it? The central banks, the IMF, the ECB, the private West central banks, the BIS, the Rothschild banks. We have a Rothschild Pope. And there are great Americans out there that are fighting right now, fighting with all their hearts, but they don't have a voice. So I'll be that voice. I saw what John the Baptist did. I think about him all the time in this situation. Would you lose your head for Christ? Would you? I would, because I love him. I love him. And I know who's Christ in this movie, Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard. And I know you out there that you're going to say, oh, Tim Ballard, Mormon, forget it. Listen to me. Do you not know the Gospels? Do you know the story about this? Let's pretend there was a Catholic who walks by and sees a guy that was beaten up. He does nothing. Walks past him. Say there was a Protestant, evangelical who walks by. He sees him, does nothing. And then a Mormon walks by, name's Tim Ballard, and he does something. The Bible is alive right now. We're all playing different characters. I got to play Jesus. But some of us are playing Judas. Many of us are politicians. You see, there's three parts in this story. You got the good and you got the evil. But most, they're on the fence. That's most. And the fight is over that middle third. Well, I'm going to take as many of these middle third with me as I can. Steve, I can start with you.
Yes, sir.
I want to start with you. I'm so tired right now. I want to say, I want to start with you and why I trust you. You were with us on the Passion of the Christ. You saw what we went through. We were called anti-Semitic. Well, unlike many of you, I believe Jesus was a Jew. And I'm certainly not anti-Semitic. How could I be? I love the Son of Man. And he led us in this direction. And he's leading me towards the children. And I know right now, if we don't get 2 million people for these 2 million children, I've not done my job. And I'll have been outdone by a very, very, very brave man named Tim Ballard, who's put his life on the line. And he put his life on the line for bringing me in. See, when Fox was doing this movie, they didn't want me. I'm not saying all of Fox doesn't want me. I'm saying at the power positions, they would not hire me. And I was one of their main guys. I did a movie called The Thin Red Line. And then suddenly after The Passion, I couldn't get a job. The studios wouldn't hire me. But see, they're all controlled by the central banks. People have to, do you really think Biden is the president of the United States? Do you really think he's running our country? Please. Who above him? Who are the puppeteers? Here's how you'll know that everything I've said is the truth. When they come out and they just blast me, they have to. They have no choice because the devil has no choice in this matter. God is coming for him. And I'm talking about the Christ Jesus God. That is the one that's coming after him. And there's a big storm coming and they know it. So they have to go and threaten you with everything from Q and on or whatever they want to say. Do you know what Q really means? It means question. That's what one of these people told me. And I said, well, that seems like a good thing. Anon, question, right? Anons then go out and research it to see if it's true because we've been fed their lies. Think about Monday. What happened? A Durham report was dropped. The FBI, the CIA, all of these guys are involved. Now, I know it's not all of them. The lower guys are probably just crying. But I'm asking you, warriors, to come out and tell the truth. If we would just unite. You know, I love that scene from Mel Gibson. I love that movie when he runs out. And where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight. Well, I'm here to pick one right now because I'll do it for my children. I'll do it for your children. Because if you understand.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hang on one second. We're going to go to commercial break, but I want to make sure everybody can get to what we're trying to accomplish here. This film, we're going to get into the complicated history of why it hasn't been released after it's been finished for a number of years. But I need everybody to go to angel.com/war room. The purpose is to sell 2 million tickets before the film's release, and the sooner we can get people to buy the tickets, you'll get a 10% discount. Go to angel.com/war room. There are 2 million children missing. We're trying to sell 2 million tickets. Angel.com/war room, 10% off. And you can find, obviously, you go there to find your theater. But make sure we go there today. We're trying to get back to this film, and this film is going to be quite controversial when you get into that. It's a very powerful film, but has struggled to get share with us all of his thoughts on all these topics. If we have time, we'll play it in the D block. It is a mesmerizing film just as a film, because it's essentially it's this amazing action movie shot all over the place. Here's what I don't understand. You guys have made this film. I think you told me that you started in 2018, and it took like a year or so to make because you were shooting all over the world. But this thing has essentially been finished since 20 or 21. Why are we in May of 23? You're in the war room, and we're going to sell tickets, and we're going to sell 2 million. That to make sure that it's in theaters over 4th of July of 2023. What is this? Why is this film so? What is it about this movie that makes people in the film industry and other places not want to see it in theaters?
I'll give you one plain example. We had 1,500 patriots, people that were interested in seeing the film in Las Vegas. During one part of the film, everybody in the audience started whispering. And of course, you're watching the viewers to see if they're even interested in the movie, but they were very, very locked in. At one point, they all started whispering, and I thought I've never seen that before. So after the movie, I asked them a couple of questions, and then I had to ask them, why were you whispering at this one particular part in the movie? And I didn't pick up on it. And they all started screaming out Epstein Island. Epstein Island isn't the only island out there where they have hurt children.
Is this, are you saying this the type of thing in the film that is going to be revealed and people are going to see? I mean, is that why this is so controversial? Is it the powers that be are trying to stop this? Or is it the quality of the movie?
Well, it's credible, the movie. When you see it, it's like in your heart when you see you've been told something for a long, long time, and then all of a sudden it hits you. But I would tell you that the movie has a great power, has God's hand in it. And I never really thought of it that way. There was a point where I'm sitting there pointing at an island where we had to Tim Ballard had to go and do this operation. And the audience members immediately reacted to that. And I think that what's interesting about it is just let the public see it, And the last time that I've experienced this was on The Passion of the Christ, where we almost never got that movie out. We're in the same situation. So Tim Ballard was at Fox Studios talking to them, and they didn't want to hire me. And he said, no, I want this guy. And he loved The Passion of the Christ. He loved The Count of Monte Cristo. And so those were 2 films that I did, and he would not steer away from it. So they finally went to me, and then Disney took over the studio. And when that happened, they did not want this film. And so then you see the nefarious activities that have been going on at Disney, and well, I understand a lot more now. But
hang on. So people don't just think, oh, this is, Jim Caviezel is a great actor, but he's off on these wild tangents on conspiracy theory, and of course he's on Bannon's show, so Bannon's giving plenty of runway to go. But in the film itself, let's just talk about the movie. In Ballard's life, and what Ballard found out, and what Ballard's testimony is as his lived experience, what does Tim Ballard show us to show that it's not a conspiracy, that there's something concrete here? It's just not some theory. What is it about what Ballard did that's so controversial, and what he found that's so controversial that they don't want people to see the movie?
I think the analogy, if it's an analogy or if it's so close, it parrots a lot what's going on in a lot of the agencies and a lot of the stuff where you try to do an operation and they shut it down. Why would you shut something down? Why would you want to stop? Let's go to the media. When a story comes out on trafficking of children, why is in the next day, it's not an interesting story. This Ms. Rojas got up and is talking about the Judiciary Committee in front of the sworn testimony in front of the Judiciary Committee that 85,000 children go missing. Why is that not an interesting enough story? So now go watch this movie, and the same kind of stuff happens, but that's not interesting. It's not happening.
But hold it. But hang on. But hang for a second. Get me back to the 85,000. When Ms. Rojas testified, Ms. Rojas says Ms. Rojas says, well, hang on. Ms. Rojas says 85,000 are missing. What does that mean to you? Does it mean that administratively they're not found, or you think there's something else going on here?
Oh, definitely something else going on. 100%. But this has been going on. When Sound of Freedom, before it was coming out, I just started noticing that anytime a story came out on trafficking, anything, it was gone the next day. It would get reported, but then it was gone. That's interesting. Then after so many thousands of these coincidences happen, how many coincidences need to occur before you start to go, and mathematically, that's impossible. If you go down to Vegas and you win a hand of blackjack, you might get hot. You might win 10 hands in a row. But after you won 1,000 hands in a row, do you think something's going on?